What is the core of the story, and what is your connection to the story?
It's the sisters to taste real life, to experience life. Mm-hmm. You know, I know many middle class families who do send their children to like experience a different life. Mm-hmm.
But for I think for you, the core of the story is the meeting between these two sisters yes. who are not sisters. They are sisters and not sisters at the same time. And then I think what comes, the rest, which is around it, the family, is something that you can always solve.
Kamal, what I mean, if you want to make a story of two girls and this kind of a conflict, the starting point must be clear.
You could say it's timeless, because it could have happened in the 60s, young people confronting their parents and...
You know, these so to say eternal stories and these basic topics of identity, coming of age and this and that, more or less they are all the same in the basic structure. The interesting part of it, how do you adopt it to the actual situation of these questions? What does it mean today?
I think it's always useful because you don't want to make a historic film, you want to make it today, and even if it's, with no timeless, if it's timeless for you, you're going to shoot today. So I think it's always interesting to use something of the situation as a material to improve the story or to improve the situation.
When I was writing the first draft, it was very daunting because I'm taking a very established writer's work and putting it into, for the first time, well, it's probably my second screenplay ever. So, I was almost afraid, and when he read the first draft, he said, there's too much of me and not enough you in it. So he was like, be brave, take your decisions, take your own direction. So I have plenty of social commentary, but I need to think about how to incorporate it into the script for the next draft.
You just got in touch with him? Or
He was my mentor through the London Film School.
These two kids never went in a foreign country.
Yeah.
It's their first time
that's
country.
Why I say it's easy. It's easy because that's easy adventures, It's easy to make good scenes for this. Yeah, it's possible. Go to a village, look around, find the proper village, look around what are the elements you can use.
And then you write something.
Yes. And then you cook something out of it, And then you have a ritual.
Yes.
And the real world. Find the things, the elements what you will use instead of recreate it. And it will make a much more special film always.
So you change the end, but you have to always start from the end to go back and to know where you're going to. I think it's very helpful.
I think even thematically thinking about this idea of these two worlds, maybe the old paradigm was old world, new world, and maybe this character realizes that he has to exist.
What makes you change all this?
Just development. I mean, we did a load since doing the application, because we did that thing that you said at the beginning, like, how can we make a low budget? Like, what do we have available to us? We knew we didn't want to make it in the UK.
What we read first was more it wasn't like a choral film, but it was more, you started from one character and you didn't really knew which was the main character, and now it's more clear, it's the guy who is the main character.
Perspective-wise, I think this is the better way to go. It feels stronger.
Yeah.
I said, I don't care if you're directors or writers or DOPs, we're all cineasts here. And this is what you should be doing all your life, and this is the way you should behave in between you. Of course, it was a theory which is not necessarily all the time funded in practice here, but we are forced by the context to be a sort of paratroop commando, being able even to cook if needed, to drive, to make fires in the wood, I don't know. Just sometimes you really have to find solutions and get the job done.
When you don't consider filmmaking as a job, when you feel it is a passion, it doesn't matter what you do in a film crew. And you feel good even if you are on a set when somebody else, a colleague or a friend, is shooting, and you can help with something. I think you feel very good.
It's a daily fight with a lot of factors, and not only money, people, maybe ideas, and in the end, yes, we have solutions, and we succeed to I don't know, to win a prize or to have the appreciations of somebody. But you need to have the eager to fight and to know what you want.
For every one of us, the basic nature is to make movies. And to make movies doesn't mean necessarily the authorship of the movie. You can be useful in so many ways, by helping, by sometimes even speaking and make therapy with people who are making films and are filled and full with problems. If you have passion for films, nobody can stop you. Nobody can stop you make anything, any film.
I've been talking to one of your teams here, and it already emerged a project which might be as an idea coming from abroad, but has a potential to be developed locally and to be of an interest of a Romanian producer who might step in and say, you know what, I'm interested and I want to develop. So we're getting into a new era with the Romanian co-production system, because we are a co-production country in a way. We cannot do movies without being two or three all together. And when Susie asked for a case study movie, I said, pick up Love Building, because I believe that's a great example for what a low budget would mean, because basically Love Building has no budget behind.
You were all at the film school together?
Yeah.
Yeah?
We started together.
You started together, and then this idea of this film, at what stage were you still at the school when you had this idea?
No,
we met, so you finished.
We actually met in 2002, the two of us, and Ana Agopian, the other screenwriter. We worked together all throughout film school, which we graduated in 2006, and then we did another master that we finished in 2010. But we basically got out of school, and we were working on all our films in film school, and Anna and Juana together with me, we were writing the scripts, and I would direct the films. So we were a very bonded team since film school, and then we continued like this, and hopefully we will for a very long time ahead. It is possible. I mean, people were so open-minded, and I think they are so open-minded when they see a lot of passion and a lot of people. We were, I think, 50 people who were just in love with cinema. That was basically it. Nobody was getting paid, nobody was getting rich out of this. We just wanted to make a film together. So I think this whole optimism and energy, it helped gather support. But the money stopped before the shoot, so that was it. And now we're... And I think it's great what's happening now, because the film got to have a distributor, a Romanian distributor, so it's going to be released in cinemas in September. And then it's going to be also, it was bought by two different TV channels, which is also great. One of them is HBO, another one is a very famous Romanian channel. So that's another good thing, because the film is going to be seen by a lot of people, and in the end, in a very, I don't know, romantic view. This is what we want. We want many people, many Romanians, and not only also foreign audience to get to have the chance to actually watch the movie. This wasn't supposed to be our featured debut, us as screenwriters, Julia as a director. Not at all. We've been working for another project for about 6 years now, right?
And that's news, which you know.
Yeah, that's still in development, basically, because I mean, lots of up and downs, and that first feature will become our second, let's hope.
And now people will invest in that film, presumably. It's opened some doors.
We hope so. What we were hoping now, but I mean, it's more for other people who are going to try the same recipe. We're hoping that Love Building will somehow open up the this interest, okay, both for films made for the audience in Romania, because this is somehow a problem. The Romanian cinema is very well regarded outside in festivals and internationally, but in Romania, unfortunately, people don't go to the cinema to watch Romanian films. I mean, people are not willing to invest by default in a Romanian film, knowing that audiences don't go to cinema. It had the opportunity to be screened in 2 different film festivals. One was in Bucharest in April, and now it's going to be screened also here in TIFF. It's been selected, so that's also very good. It has a proper. We didn't expect that, really. I mean, at the beginning when they were outside smoking, nobody thought we were going to end up here.
Basically, the story is about the lack of communication between people that should be very close, parents and kids, but how Romanians live, what kind of work they have to do, and here in my script I was thinking that the mother takes care of an old lady who has Alzheimer, and the father works on a construction site, a very hard work and tough work. I want to explore this contrast, what happens in the little girl's mind and what happens in the real world.
She wants to be with her parents. She feels in her way the lack of her parents. But she expresses like a fairy tale because it's easier for her to understand, but she's really suffering.
The film, like the first act, would take place in Romania. Then the second and the third act would be in Italy. Mm-hmm. And again, a contrast between these 2 cultures. People from Italy would relate also to the story because there are a lot of Romanians working there for them, and there are big Romanian communities in Italy that interact with Italian people, and I think they will understand the story.
It clearly lends itself to Romanian-Italian character.
It's a universal thing. The immigration topic is typically a good topic for co-production, for European co-production, because there are Romanians everywhere in Europe. I mean, and actually, I think that Romanian cinema is quite now respected, and I'm sure that there are many people, many production company wanting to be involved in that kind of project. In terms of distribution, you know that if you have like distribution secured in various countries, you can apply for distribution subsidies in media, which is quite good actually. They are very good amounts. So if you have distribution security, especially if you come from Romania or Eastern Europe, so that's something to consider.
On a low-budget film, period is difficult because it costs money, because you can't just shoot what is. I mean, if you're saying pre-internet, my temptation would be, don't even say when it is, but just shoot what you find. Have you seen Never Let Me Go?
Yeah, there's this Aristotle's version.
So it's period, but it's not 50s, 60s, 70s, it's just not now.
But how do you know that it's past?
Because the cars look, things are a bit old and weird, but they're not. Maybe you'd be better off setting it today and thinking about how this story of a woman who feels invisible because she's because of her self-image and probably because of her family and all those issues.
Wow.
So it's not just the atmosphere.
I would think about that because you're creating a problem for yourself immediately, or for your producer, and therefore for you.
I'm pregnant.
I think the concept's strong, and I think it's got great visual potential, but to keep it on the side of reality, I think it'll be even more powerful. Because this could go off into the realms of fantasy or the absurd and surreal. And maybe that's what you want to do, which is another thing altogether.
I think we're on the same page on this one.
But if you want it to, if you want to try and make this a film that people are going to see, which has a kind of commercial potential as well, you know.
I mean, production-wise, it's very easy because it's not something to be co-production, I guess.
It's a Hungarian film.
It's a Hungarian film.
It's very low budget.
Yeah, mostly it's going to be the government's money, hopefully.
Yeah.
Under 200,000 euros, and which is I think an easy get if we can come up with the screenplay. I now see it's possible to come up with.
Yeah. Good.
Cool.
Good luck with it.
Thank you, sir.
Make it.
I'm a writer myself, actually. The problem for me as well is that the further you get with a project, the more worried you become in some sort of way, the more heavy it becomes, the more difficult it becomes to move things about. And one of the things, particularly in low-budget filmmaking, that you have to have is like kind of mental flexibility. You have to be able to go, okay, I can change that, or I can think like this, or I think that the point about it is when you're in a rewriting process, you don't want to just approach rewriting from a mechanical point of view, because once you get mechanical, then it starts to feel mechanical. So you kind of have to keep on bringing like bits of creative life back to that thing. I mean, this is part of this idea about going back to being kind of kids in a way, to kind of find your most innocent way to approach creativity in some sort of way. This is a game called drawing with two hands. When you're drawing, I want you to concentrate to cross your hands as much as you can, to do the crossing of your hands. The other thing is I want you to try and draw something or things rather than abstracts, because abstract's quite easy. I want you to kind of like actually try and draw things in a scene, for instance. They don't have to be a scene, but just one object followed by another object or something like that. Daydream on the page, adding one more thing to another thing, and just see what you find yourself drawing. When I was at school, I was thrown out of the class for daydreaming, and now it's my job. I think what you've got to do is tell the story as it happened, and then decide how you want to tell the story from a film point of view. What is the centre of this thing?
The core of the story is this place where all these people gather. They're kind of outsiders, and where they find kind of a shelter from life.
In the kebab store?
Yeah, in the kebab store.
I actually think the idea of building a story around a location like kebab house, and the people who might meet or know each other or work in that place as a sort of something that unifies these people from very different backgrounds could be quite interesting, even from a production low-budget point of view. And one of the things I'm really spotting is this idea that the locations are a really handy determinant of something that you could do on a low budget. You can do that without research. You can kind of plot what the journey could be like without research, and then you're going to have to go back and carry on to fill that out. But even if you wrote down a story where you kind of thought, okay, I'm going to write for 20 minutes, not now, but like maybe tomorrow afternoon or something like that, and sit down and go, okay, if I was to tell the story only from his point of view, how is it going to be?
so I decided to do by myself. So I asked my parents to borrow me some money. And,
which was about 30,000, I think.
Yes, 30,000.
Euros.
They did it. And I did the film all alone with this money. And I'm very happy that I took the decision. Because it was a very difficult decision. It was a risk. I found all of these people, the actors, the collaborators, the technicians, who believed in the script and who trusted me.
I like her as a person, I trusted her. I really realized that she really wants to do the film. This is the most important thing for me. If someone asks me to play somewhere, and if I realize that this person really wants to do it, and really want to do it with me. So this is the first trust. The second trust is the script. I like the script very much. So I immediately told her that, okay, I want to do it. There were some difficulties because I was playing in the theater, but that time the play didn't go well. We stopped it, and it was very good for the film.
If you're writing and directing and producing, how do you bounce your idea against someone? How do you find, or do you not do that at all? Do you ask friends? Do you ask him?
It was easy because I weren't forced to ask everybody. So all the things were were easier and quick and fast. And because sometimes you lose time to ask. And
to prove something, you lose time to prove someone that this. Am I right?
And to convince people.
I wanted to ask you, what inspired you to choose this certain visual style? Because it's very clean and very geometric, and the colors seem chosen very carefully, like in a painting somehow.
Okay. We talked a lot about some references, about some movies that I like Haneke's movies, like Ulrich Seidel's movies, like Carlos Reigada's movies. So we talked a lot about these directors and their movies, and that's all.
The nature, or you can think about it in terms of magnetic, the pushes and the pulls between characters. Okay? And that's an exercise you're going to do together. And you can use a new piece of paper.
She's just in the background trying to bring them together with a kind word. Between the sister and the parents, it's like negative energy. Between the two sisters, I found it that it's positive and the negative energy, because the older sister loves her little sister, but she would like to have her own life. And there's a very positive energy from the little girl to her parents, but sort of like not indifference, but
between them, from the parents, like a dot line is not negative, but neither implication.
Not really affection, more of a background role. We have to provide material things, and obviously negative energy between the two parents.
Incomplete, correctly.
Exactly.
The dot line suggests incomplete.
Yes.
Good.
So that leads me to the question of, what is the underlying dilemma that the village is facing? And there's a sense in which one of the thoughts that I had thinking about this place and these people is that it's a place without a future, and I think it could, if it doesn't receive these benefits, it will die. So that the pregnant bride is a symbol of fecundity. And I think that Anna can have a son, but I think 13 is too young. And that I think he needs to be at that age where he's just about to leave. So he's 17, however old you are, go to university.
So what worries you? You shouldn't be worried.
What scares me in writing is that it has to be long, it has to be very expanded.
Basically, now you have listened to people, and people have always an opinion. Even if you have the perfect script, somebody will read it and will tell you, this is my opinion, you can improve here and there. So it has no limit, sharing you that your thoughts and your ideas with other people.
Yes.
Because sometimes it becomes very unhelpful.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? You should just sit down and write.
Yeah,
I agree. Yes.
And I think the time has come for you now to sit down, focus, and listen to your voice. And nobody can help you, in fact, at the end, you know?
Yes.
Because this is your film, and you will have to find your way to make it the way you want to make it.
I think the experience of connecting with a lot of people from different worlds and tutors, also the groups, and what they give you, not just on the session, on speaking with them and what they are thinking about, how the problems are in their country and so on, and the subjects, and the one-to-one meeting, it makes you a vision about the world, about the cinema in the world, and gives you something that you never had at home, just watching on internet.
I made more progress in 5 days than in the past 3 months. And of course, more time would have been nice, but I will be honest and say expect lots of emails. That's all.
But overall, I thought everything was great. I was really happy and didn't feel at any point that I was being pushed too hard or too slack. I think it was very evenly based. I guess a time set aside where you can regroup, even in the middle, and be like, right, what have we learned? Yeah. Without the pressure of like having to pitch again right away.
This workshop helped us a lot to gain confidence in the story and to fight for it.
And I'm very happy to be here with Sylvain, because this is like we can have a foundation and have a basis on this story, and this is very important because in our life we can't have this time to stay 4 days or 5 days together just to think about a story, and this is very helpful for us. So thank you.
It was very useful because it was the first time that we showed this film idea to anyone, and to show it to an international, getting international feedback. It was huge. I think it's a jump start for the project.
I think that you need to get all this feedback, take lots of notes, and basically come back home, settle down, and go back to work. That's how I think things should be done. Because in the middle of a workshop with lots of comments, some of them being very contradictory, I think it's a bit dangerous to be writing during it. That's just
And I think it's very good. I think it's gone very well. And,
I found it very inspiring to be here and to share, your experience and to listen to what people are involved in now.
The energy and the thinking that everyone has had, I've had a great time to hear what you're thinking about, and it's strange because as you get to know the films and even hear your thinking processes, which are kind of almost more important, I don't know whether this is like an administrative nightmare, but it might be worth to put in somehow into the program like a Skype meeting scheduled for like 2 months' time.
Something I like very much is I felt very involved in every project, and I think it's also coming from an idea of this, of the way you put it, this session. It's the way it works on frustration, I think.
What I really liked was a lot of people are here from the Making Waves, and so it's like a reunion sort of thing, and so you see progression, and I think it's a shame we can't do this twice.
The miracle, the magic of the people being here, and I was very happy to be with you. I was very impressed by how much you were open and how much you were eager to change your stories, a thing which at the film school usually don't happen because people are stubborn, teachers are
tired and so on. And last but not least, I'm very happy to be with all the other colleagues here, and it's a nice group. I think the secret is Susie Gillette because and this is why it's not a boring development workshop.